Again, that's a $64 million question. Some people say it's simply willpower. I don't necessarily think so. I don't think it's a willpower issue. I think it's some innate change in the brain, some difference.
There seems to be some pretty good evidence that people that use methamphetamine, and the first time they use, they say, man, this is just the greatest stuff in the world. It's because it's actually taking care of some chemical imbalances that they already have set up in their brain. And it makes it much more likely because it works. It takes care of some of the things that happens. And for a while, it's even possible that some of the chemicals can be more in balance for them. Those are the people that tend to use and are much more likely to become addicted.
Definitely some biochemical process that goes on that makes quitting very difficult. If someone is smoking and tries to quit, they feel horrible. At the same time, they learn it in their family or from the larger culture that this is the way you do certain things.
Some, by early on in age, go get me a beer, light my cigarette for me, to going in the, riding in the car, to go buy alcohol or drugs or whatever, to parties all night long. It could be family patterns, the way they live.
It may not have to do so much with the family structure, but again, it may have to do with physiological differences that tend to be carried on within that family. And if there is an adolescent that is there and knows that their parents were alcoholics at one point in time, or still consider themselves alcoholics, or have abused drugs, the likelihood of them abusing drugs and becoming addicted is greater than in a family that isn't the issue.
I think it's very complex, and looking at each individual case is needed. And I think that's what makes it so scary, is if you have one model of addiction, you can kind of bounce yourself up against it and say, oh, well, this doesn't fit for me. This will never be a problem for me. And if you can bounce yourself up against that one model and you say, this doesn't fit for me, I think you're still at risk. I think everybody is at risk for developing an addiction problem.
A large part of the difference may be an unwillingness to try it the first time. There are a great number of people who never become addicted, maybe because they've never tried cocaine. Maybe if they tried it, they would become addicted the very first time.
We don't like to feel our pain. We don't like to be uncomfortable. And when we find something that works and makes us feel better, we would do it again and again.
I think that addictions are learned, but I think the main thing with addiction is because in other areas you aren't getting the goodies you want. You get more out of that addiction than you do from other goodies.
You want to look for what's happening for them that they want to feel better, so they're going to this method of feeling better. What feels bad?